Hey guys, Jacob Gago here. I just built my most expensive PC ever. Pretty much top of the line everything. I'm reusing a few parts from my 2023 build, which you guys really loved, but there's been a lot of learning since then and some exciting new tech has dropped. So let's go ahead and build this PC together and see if I ended up having buyer's remorse. All the specs are listed in the description below. If you decide to pick anything up, please use the links in the description as it does support the channel. Let's go. So why a new build? My 2023 build was actually pretty good and I actually made over 10 times the amount I spent on it, but I knew I could get even better performance. I wanted to upgrade my specs for 2025 to meet the creative and fun demands of Flight Sim 2024 and 4K editing with DaVinci Resolve. So in conclusion, I just wanted to upgrade. Starting with the case, I am sticking with the NZXT H9 Elite case. I did consider switching over to the all glass Lian Li case, but I decided to just keep this. I really appreciate the many flexible fan configurations and the top glass panel that lets me see my LCD screens. We'll get into the fans a little bit later. Now talking about the motherboard, I went with the Asus ProArt Z890 mainly for Thunderbolt 5 and 10 gigabit Ethernet. Since I use a NAS and a Ubiquiti 10 gigabit switch and also Thunderbolt peripherals, this was a no-brainer. And it also has a toolless design which makes installing the NVMEs and the SSD and also the GPU a lot easier. Now the annoying part, it only has one USB 2.0 header. Some people will be like, just get a splitter. Unfortunately, Lian Li fans are pretty picky and they only like to be plugged into the motherboard. I did do a DIY workaround, but that meant I lost my front USB-A port in the process. Later, I found Lian Li's own USB splitter that plugs into the back panel of the PC. I guess this has to be the way to do it because I did have other internal USB hubs, but there was no luck. But anyways, despite all this, I still stuck with the board because it is rare to get 10 gigabit Ethernet, Thunderbolt 5, and a clean black, white, and gold aesthetic all in one. Alright, the CPU. AMD fans, don't come for me. I know the 9950 XUD is a beast, but after testing it head to head with Intel's 285K for music production, video editing, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and general productivity, Intel came out on the top for my needs. Here's why. Quick sync. While the new 5000 series GPUs finally support 10-bit 422 encoding, quick sync is still a game changer, especially when paired with the 5000 series. When Nvidia had driver issues and OBS basically broke, my 285K stepped in and handled recording smoothly while the GPU focused on gaming, and this combo actually saved me. Plus, I needed the Thunderbolt for my workflow. Intel just made more sense. Since I upgraded the CPU, I also swapped in the Thermalright contact frame for better thermals and stability. So far, no regrets. If you are curious about the head-to-head video with the 9950 XUD and the 285K, I do have a video on that and you can check it out here. For RAM, I am using 92 gigabytes of Corsair Dominator Titanium DDR5 running at 6600 MHz CL32. I could have gone for 192 gigabytes, but honestly, since I don't only video edit, that's overkill right now. In my last build, I had 32 gigabytes and it was maxing out around 60 to 80% usage. So I upgraded to a 64 gigabyte, and if that brought it down to about 40 to 60% usage, and I wasn't as content, so I finally upgraded to what I wanted the first time around, which is a 92 gigabyte RAM, and now I'm cruising around 20 to 30% usage even while editing and multitasking. Now here's the fun part. It looks like I have 4 RAM sticks in there, but only 2 of them are real and the other 2 are fake just for aesthetics, so I can maintain the full 6600 speed without sacrificing stability. Since I have the titanium version, the top caps are swappable, so to match the white, black, and gold theme, I switched out the top caps to be gold. For my storage, I knew I wanted a Gen 5 SSD from Samsung just to keep everything under one ecosystem. Mainly for the Samsung Magician software, it basically helps monitor temps, health, and performance. But when I was building, the only option was the 990 Evo, which I was definitely not a fan of. So I grabbed the crucial T700. Just before my return window closed, boom, Samsung drops the 9100 Pro, which was perfect timing. I swapped it out instantly. Just a quick heads up, if you're going with the crucial T700 or T705, be ready, they run really hot, so make sure you have adequate heatsink cooling. So for my final storage setup, I have the 9100 Pro 2TB for my main OS, the 990 Pro 2TB for my cache drive, the 990 Pro 4TB for my project and storage drive. Everything has been fast, reliable, just how I like it. So for cooling, I've gone full Kraken mode, not crackhead mode, but Kraken mode. Started with the Z73 and then I moved over to the Elite 360 V1. Since then, they have released the V2, so I upgraded to the Elite V2 and it's been great. The high-res screen lets me show off temps, GIFs, and even full videos if I wanted to flex a little. Plus, it's whisper quiet, no issues at all. I mounted the radiator on the side, and yeah, I know the internet loves to debate side versus top. I've done both in past builds for many years, never had problem either way. Personally, I stay out of those debates. Some people love stressing over a couple degrees or FPS when the real goal is a stable, powerful setup that looks clean and runs smooth. And this cooler does exactly that. Alright, so let's finally talk about fans. I originally wanted the Lian Li LCD fans, but at the time they were only announced. So I stuck with the non-LCD plus the stock fans that came with my NZXT case. When they were finally released, I did swap out just about all the fans except the bottom row since it's gonna be blocked by my GPU anyways. I like having the top fans to show my temps, so then when I'm in the standing orientation on my desk, I could quickly glance and look at the temps, and then when I'm sitting, I just check the sides. So far, the fans have been pretty much awesome, but real talk, two did break already. While Lian Li did replace them, their RMA process honestly is very rough, and you could find people complain about this all over Reddit. It took about 3 months, and their responses is painfully slow. In my last build, airflow wasn't great. This time, I fixed it with a better fan layout. My bottom fans are intake, left rear is exhaust, my right where the radiator is intake, and my top is exhaust. I might still add another intake fan behind the radiator to double the airflow, but we'll see. I'm still working on that. Jumping into the power supply, I could have kept my 1000 watt power supply, but with the new components, especially the GPU, I wanted more headroom and better future proofing. There wasn't a huge price jump between the 1200 watt and 1500 watt models I wanted, so I went all in and got the Corsair HX 1500i. Why that one? Simple. It gives me real-time monitoring in IQ, so I can see exactly how much power each component is drawing. Nerdy, I know, maybe, but super satisfying. Also, I love that it comes with a 10-year warranty, so I'm set for a long time. Alright, the moment you've been waiting for, my GPU is the Gigabyte 5090 AORUS Master ICE. The second I saw this card, I fell in love. In my opinion, it's hands down the best looking GPU out right now. Maybe if the Asus drops the Astral white version, I'll reconsider, but honestly, this still wins. It's got a built-in screen for temps, GIFs, whatever you want. And guys, the LED fan lighting on the side, chef's kiss. To me, this GPU only makes sense if it's vertically mounted. You have to show off those fan lights. It wasn't totally smooth though. If you're gonna follow this route, just make sure you buy a PCIe 5.0 riser cable. I'm still using the same Cooler Master vertical mount, but it was a little bit flimsy because I am using a third-party PCIe riser cable, but it still works. To supply juice to the GPU, I'm still using the Lian Li Streamer Plus V2 GPU cable. I didn't see any issues on still using this cable, so there's been no burning, no frying. I just made sure to firmly plug it in. Funny enough, while waiting for a GPU to be available, I wanted the 5090, but I only got my hands on the 5080 Master ICE, but it was struggling big time because of the 16GB VRAM in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I went back in the market to look for a 5090 and I finally got one, and it's way better in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll be lying though if I said it was fully smooth, but it's 1,000 times better. The GPU is chilling a little more, so it's more of a CPU thing. And also the game is still fairly new and they were still rolling out updates for better efficiency. Obviously I didn't get the 5090 just for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I also got it for video editing, which is doing great at it. but it's still good to know that I got a capable card in case I wanted to ever do VR. This GPU can handle it all. Lastly, if you're wondering how much I paid for this GPU, it was $299.99. I did pay the tariff prices and also the white card premium, so it is what it is. I just had to do it. I actually could have gotten my hands on a Founders Edition, but I really don't like those cards because there's no character. Honestly, if you get that, it's more because of the rarity aspect of it, but to me, it just wasn't for me. After doing all these updates, I went ahead and updated my BIOS and also installed Windows. Then I went ahead and ran some tests on Cinebench and 3D Mark Score. And guys, I can't believe at the scores I'm seeing. This is pretty intense and pretty crazy to know that I have a super fast system. This might be my most expensive build yet, but it's also the most purposeful. Every part was chosen with intention for content creators, gamers, and power users like me. It's more than a flex, it's actually future proofing. Before you go out and buy any of these CPUs, I recommend watching the 285K versus 9950X3D comparison video. And if you want to see the last PC build I did, you could check out the video. If you enjoyed this build, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what your dream build would look like. Also, I think it's time for me to build a PC for you guys. If you want me to do that, actually, let me know in the comments below so we could set something up. If you liked anything I talked about in this video, all of it will be in the description below. And with that being said, thank you guys as always, and I'll see you guys on the next one.